Mind Mutual Fund. Deepak, unfortunately, we couldn't get that line up. We've been trying for a bit, but I think technology has got the better of us today. But great to chat with you on the phone, as always. I just want to start by saying what your sense is of the reaction to Jane Street in terms of large investors. Are we going to see muted volumes on the derivative side for a bit and in the cash markets as well as a result?
The volumes in general will likely come down if these, so the way they seem to have described a lot of these positions is that a lot of positions were created on index expiry day in order to, gain a disproportionate benefit using their options positions. So some of the cash positions were created, some of the futures positions were created to benefit from options. So in that context, during expiry, I would expect, and the first expiry actually happens now tomorrow, because now weekly expiries are only between Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the difference, we will only know tomorrow whether this creates a reasonable difference. And as we seem to be hearing, there's another hedge fund that seems to be in the crosshairs. So there might be multiple people employing some technologies like this, and given that it takes only a few thousand crores to be able to manipulate stocks during trading day, that might result in relatively lower volumes if these volumes were not artificially created just to, move stocks during expiry day. So,
I'm very curious. I'm very curious about what you're hearing, Deepak, on this other hedge fund which is in the crosshairs. Is it a domestic hedge fund? Is it a global hedge fund that's going to be the next Jane Street? Because clearly this was not a secret sauce that only Jane Street knew about.
Yes, in fact, the thing came about because Jane Street sued Millennium. Because Millennium hired, I think, a bunch of people from Jane Street, or Jane Street hired from Millennium. I don't know which one it was, but essentially there was a court case in which they said, your people, you hired people who stole our very profitable index options trading strategy in India. And that's when SEBI also kind of said, wait a second, what are you talking about? And are you guys manipulating the markets? We need to check. They've checked just 3 days. There have been a lot more expiry days since, that they can check. And presumably what they've found right now is a few thousand crores. They might find tens of thousands of crores. But the other hedge fund, which was named in that court case, was Millennium. And Millennium also has a large trading position in India. So, and I saw an article today that said they're also in the crosshairs, but it makes sense because if SEBI went after X, they'll also go after Y because they were both named there.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Okay, so correct. So it could be Millennium, it could be Jane Street, it could be others. Deepak, I'm just wondering how much of a mover do you think this India-US trade deal is going to be? Already expectations are being managed that if at all it will be a mini deal. It's fairly clear. I don't think we will be one of the recipients in the letters that will go out tonight India time. Hopefully not. But whatever form and function that deal comes in, it's quite safe to say it won't be at the 26%. Anyway, the deadline's also moved. Do you think that that's the next trigger the market's waiting for?
Well, to be honest, at this point, it is fairly clear that Mr. Trump is not in any way predictable or dependable, because he might say 26% today and wake up tomorrow and say 50%. So it is better for us to start expecting that the U.S. in the near future and perhaps in the coming few years is not going to be a dependable partner. They are a waste of time from us to keep thinking about, although it may have short-term repercussions. We should just start thinking that they are applying a lot more tariffs on us and we don't care. And we should start looking at the rest of the world if you're looking at exports, or just domestically focus on increasing Indian market shares of Indian companies, because there is no trustworthiness left in the US. So what happens today and tomorrow and all that stuff will be newsworthy. But I don't think it will last more than a couple of days, because there will be more statements. Now made another statement saying BRIC something 10%. Now we don't know what that means, but it means nothing, because if they give you a trade deal and tomorrow they say no, you're parts of BRIC, so we'll charge you another 20%. It's just news making for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But I think we're in better shape than that. We don't have to, think of the US as the only partner that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it is become the big move, sort of a reason for the markets to hold their breath. Meanwhile, those dual factors may be weighing in. Thank you so much, Deepak. We always enjoy our conversations with you. All right, that time of the afternoon where we